Joe McDonough here with MyMMAnews.com. I am joined by Mr. Dr. Pepper himself, Adrian Yanez. Adrian, how's it going, man?
Man, it's going pretty well, man. I'm blessed, man. 2 weeks out from the fight, man. I'm just ready to go in there and scrap, honestly.
And this is a fight that you know MMA Twitter. I've been tweeting about it forever. MMA Twitter's been tweeting about it. I mean, everyone's been tweeting about it for. It seems we tried to get it on the Houston, everything. This fight it almost doesn't feel real that it's only 2 weeks away finally because we've been wanting it for so long. And we'll talk about it in a minute. I do want to get your kind of reaction to last night, from Sean O'Malley and Chris Matino and kind of the toughness of Chris Matino, the McGregor, leg snap thing,
Oh yeah.
Cardi tied to Avasa, whatever comments you have about last night. Obviously, it was a very, very fun night. I'd love to hear it.
Oh man, last night the main card was like it exceeded expectations. Like I was like completely like jumping up and down the whole entire fight card. Like especially with Taito Avasa knocking out Greg Hardy. That one to me was like very like I felt emotionally invested in that one because Taito Avasa did me a solid this last time when we fought in March. I was doing a raffle for a family who needed extra help, and kind of going through a time because COVID hit them pretty hard.
Yeah.
So he did me a solid and signed some gloves for me, made a video for him and everything. So like I felt really emotionally invested whenever he knocked him out. I was jumping up and down, man. Oh, my blood was like.
Were you doing a shoey at home?
Oh man, I wish I would. I wish I was, but 2 weeks away. I'll probably do a shoe for him after, but maybe it depends. It has to be a new shoe, not no one. It has to be a new shoe.
None of the someone wearing it and just throwing it to you.
Oh yeah, no man. Maybe if it was John Anik's shoe, maybe I don't know.
And I think even more impressive than Tuivas's knockout win is the fact that I think. And they scrolled away from him camera wise, but I mean they kept going back, and he had a new shoe. He probably did 6 shoeys from the walk from the octagon to back in the locker room.
Oh man, I was paying close attention because I was like, man, getting random shoes from all these other people, man. I don't know. Someone snuck in and poured in hot sauce into one of those shoes.
I saw that.
I was like, oh damn, man. But
Tuivasa didn't like that too much. And then McGregor Poirier. I mean, what was your takeaways? From that fight? I mean, do you think McGregor fights again? I know both of them after. I mean, McGregor was very adamant that he wanted the 4th fight. Poirier said after that, it's unfinished business. I'm sure what McGregor wants, he gets usually. But what's your takeaway?
Oh yeah, I definitely believe they're gonna fight again. It's almost inevitable, especially like how the turn, like it was friendly the second time around. This third time around turned into something different.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it on both. I get it on both sides, but I get it more along the lines on Dustin's side of being like, no, I really want to get this fight again. Like I don't mind it at all, especially like, man, you got someone talking crap to you the whole entire time, like when Conor was on the ground, still talking mess, still talking it's not a good look. And if I was Poirier, we'd be like, hey, whenever you're healthy, we're fighting again.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter. Like, what? Honestly, I expected the answers that he had. Like, he was like, even if it's on the street, we're gonna be fighting. Yep. So it's like, even Conor McGregor's in that mind state where he really wants to fight him, really wants to get him. So I believe that fight's gonna happen again. Do I think it happens immediately after Conor's healed up? I don't know, because I think Dustin Poirier is next in line for the title shot. So I think that kind of makes it a little bit harder to have that as the next fight coming up.
And how much does it mess with you mentally when you have someone saying, talking about your wife, talking about your family, kind of chirping at your fundraising and the Good Fight Foundation that he has? Obviously you and Randy have kind of fun chirping back and forth about, Reese's and Dr. Pepper, but nothing that serious. I mean, what does it do to a fighter kind of when you're in that mode and you're locked in the cage with this guy who's been saying all this stuff about your, beliefs or family or all this other things?
Man, it's all like at the end of the day, you have to be able to put that outside. Like, once you're in the cage, you have to put it outside. But sometimes people can't, and it gets them to react emotionally, and it gets them to react like in the fight, like out of like out of character. So honestly, like a lot of the times, what happens is like honestly, a great example is their first fight. He was
Mhm.
in Dustin's head. You can even see whenever they put the hands out to touch the gloves. You know, kind of Dustin Poirier kind of was trying to smack it out of his face. So and then this time around, these past couple times, you know, it just hasn't bothered him. It's been unbothering for him. So, uh, you know, the fight was a good fight, but it just depends on how much the other person is matured as a fighter.
Mhm.
Because I know for myself in the last fight, March 20th, like Gustavo was out there, like he was talking a bunch of trash, saying like who have I fought. You know, I could have went in there like very very angry, wanting to go out there and try to and fight emotionally instead of fighting strategically, and that would have lost me the fight.
Mhm.
But it's just a matter of being able to put it aside,
Mhm.
because fighting emotionally never works out well for you.
Yeah, and talk to me about training camp. How's camp been? And I mean, two of the highest level prospects. Two fan favorites. All this stuff. I mean, it's just so cool that you guys are going to fight. And what are your expectations from Randy? Because he's kind of that awkward style. I mean, I remember the first time he fought. Joe Rogan was convinced that he had hurt his leg because of just how odd he was fighting. I mean, how do you prepare for that?
Honestly, the awkwardness is always going to be having to adjust on the fly. Like you're never really gonna have someone to mimic something that's super awkward because you try to get someone to mimic it, and you know sometimes it's a little bit of a detriment. You know, you don't get the best version of that awkwardness. So you just have to train. You have to adapt as the fight goes. So it's just it honestly it's just one of those things that in real time you'll adapt, you'll be able to see everything a little bit better. But he is awkward, he is a little bit he is unique, he is explosive, and he is powerful. So there's a lot of things I gotta take into account into this fight, and you know me looking at the matchup, and I really like it.
And so do I, and so does everyone. I mean, do you feel like this is, in a sense, the biggest fight of your career because of how much attention it's gotten, how much eyes are going to be on it, all of this other things?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like every fight that I'm gonna have from the UFC from here on out is the next biggest fight of my career because there's only one way I want to go, and that's up, and that's in the top 15, top five. You know, eventually hold a title. So that's the mindset I have. So every fight that I'm having is the next biggest fight
Mm-hmm.
that I'm having. So that's the way I treat it, and it just makes it even better that it's against the guy named against Randy Costa because he legitimately is a really really tough guy. He's a tough slugger. He's very unorthodox. He throws a lot of kicks. He's one of those guys that'll throw a three kick combination and no punches whatsoever. So
Mm-hmm.
he's that type of a fighter. So you just gotta be on your P's and Q's with this guy. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like going back to the question, man. It's it every fight from here on out is the most important fight.
And do you feel like this for you and Randy is kind of like a winner, a fight for the top 15? The winner gets that spot because, like I said, both of you are very, very talented, high level prospects who kind of are on that cusp of being in that top 15 in arguably the best division in the UFC.
Oh yeah, this division is so stacked. Like honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if we were still stuck on the outside of the top 25. If I'm being quite honest with you, because how stacked this division is. Then just look at all the 135ers that are fighting on this card. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
got people like Kyler Phillips. I think who I can't remember if he's in the top 15 or he just got knocked out because somebody else jumped in. Uh, but man, you got like a lot of these tough cats that in the 35 division that are killers. Even the top 25, man. There's a lot of fighters. There's a lot of fighters. But so if I would say if we both had two more fights, and then this fight was happening, I I believe we'd get a number next to our name. But since we're still kind of pretty early in our UFC careers, I definitely think that we'll be hitting in the top 25 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Top 15, it is. We are stretching it a little bit. I'm gonna be pretty like honest about that one. But with just the amount of hype, and like let's just say I go out there and I starch Randy in the first round, that definitely puts me in the conversation for top
Yeah.
15.
Yep.
It has to be one of those that like I like it's non-competitive.
Yep.
That's the only way it gets to top 15. But the way I see this fight going, it's gonna be like back and forth,
Mhm.
scrap, like 15 minutes of like pure hell for the both of us.
Fight of the night, though.
Oh,
Little extra
absolutely.
cash.
Oh, absolutely. I really hope they keep up that $75,000 performance bonus. I really hope.
Yeah, that would be
Trying to
nice.
buy a couple houses.
Yeah. Now tell me, I know Dr. Pepper responded on Twitter. I've seen that. Any latest on getting a sponsorship from them?
Oh no, man, whatsoever. Man, anything that I tweet out is pretty much all real time. So anything like, yeah, no, I haven't heard back from them since. So I was hoping for something, man. But after this fight,
The
and
hype
I
goes
get a
up,
I get a spectacular knockout. They're the ones I'm calling out next.
Post fight, Dr. Pepper.
Oh
Adrian, that's
yeah,
all I've got for you, man. Thank you very much for the time. I appreciate it. Can't wait for this fight.
man. Thank